Great. Okay, so welcome everybody. It's very nice to see you all here. We're going to start the session right now. We're just like sharply on time. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your interest. It's very nice to see you all here, and hopefully this is going to be the first of many initiatives that are going to have to engage more our community and generate a higher impact from what we have been doing so far. So my name is Agatha da Silva. I'm currently the president of the GCLOG Alumni Association. And here you can see all my standard team that we're very happy to have everybody here, and not only helping us with the initiative, but also working very hard so we can have higher impact and better results from everything that we learned from the program. So welcome, Carlos, Alessandro, Lucas, Daniel, Gilmar. Thank you for being here. And we have other people from our team that are going to join us later on. So welcome and thank you for being here. So I'm going to be very brief. I just want to present for the ones that were not in the meetings that we had before, a little bit about the association and what they're doing and what is our aim. And then I'm going to pass the word to Daniel so he can continue presenting the initiative. So as you know, we're launching this association with the idea that all the experience, all the knowledge that we're getting from the MIT GCLOG should not stop there. So the idea of the association, and I'm sorry, this is not changing them, is that we can generate some spaces where we can work together and can continue learning, we can continue growing, we can generate collaborations between academia, industry. We think that we have very different and varied profiles that actually could work together, not only on new projects, but also helping each other on improving and making decisions and learning more about our local supply chains. So the main idea of this initiative is that we can generate some spaces, and this is the first space, so welcome to that. This is the first space that we're working on, and we're going to start sharing our experience, our knowledges, because we know that everybody that goes to this program are very smart people that have a lot to offer. So the idea is that we can share and we can connect through all the potential that we have in the network. So the vision that we have on the association is to cultivate this global network of supply chains and logistics professionals. And the main idea is that we can become change agents on the region, we can make meaningful contributions to the society and generate a positive impact, because I think that is the main focus of not only the association, but also the GCLOG program and the MIT Scale Network. Sorry, it's not working very well here. So on the short term, what we're doing, and this is the first initiative, we're going to launch some virtual mentor sessions. We want to have webinars, we want to have like spaces where we can discuss roundtables and other types of initiatives that can help us connect better. So we are working hard as well on generating our alumni directory, so we can reach out to you and generate some spaces where we can have communities. I'm going to show you shortly the first one that we have. And then hopefully on the medium term, we're going to have some local meetings, some regional meetings, other types of initiatives where we can work with the industry, with white papers or other types of articles that we can work together. And on long term, we're gonna start hearing all the inputs that you can bring to us, and that is gonna lead us to make a long-term planning so we can work together and make the community sustainable. What we expect is to have a growth and a very strong leadership network. We hope that we can continue developing our careers through the association with all the community, and we can generate opportunities. So we always see that we are sharing work opportunities, project opportunities, research opportunities, ideas that we can work that together. And the idea is that we can work that not only impacting within our works, but also within the region on private and public policies, and we can try to generate or improve the competitiveness of our regions. So our call to actions and actually is invitations that you join our platform that Jumar Barros very nicely work, very hardly work on it. And without the community, we want to generate a space where we can connect together and we can work on all this communication. We can gather and generate spaces for job sharing, for project sharing, for just chatting and communicating ideas. And the idea is that we have a private space for us that we can actually use and increase the value from this network. So I invite you to join. You can join through this page or through the QR code. It's gonna take you to the same page. And hopefully you can start connecting there. Please participate, not only enroll to the page, but also participate. We have a lot of spaces that you can explore and see there. Let me see here, I think I have it open. So it's like you can see, it's a very nice space where you can have published information. Here I just published information from a conference, and we can start working on some ideas. And of course, you want to hear feedback to see how you can improve this space for us. Okay, so thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being part of this community. Hopefully, this is going to be a very long-term project. And with no further, I'm gonna pass the word to Daniel Hernandez, who's gonna present today's session. Daniel, thank you so much for all the efforts for today and to all the team. And well, you have the floor.
Thanks, Agatha. Well, welcome everyone. We're very happy that everyone's here. Like Agatha said, this is a space as a continuous learning section where we're gonna host like webinar series just like this one. And we're very happy to have the first one, and especially to have Lucas Bonetto with the topic of corporate leadership. As a small introduction, Lucas is a senior commercial operations and supply chain executive with more than 20 years of experience across multinational organizations, with impact in product launches, complex operations, and business transformation across Latin America. He holds a degree in international trade, postgraduate specialization in supply chain management, and is graduate of the MIT Global Scale Network. He's from the GCLOG class of 2017 to 2018. And he also won the capstone project for his class, so we're very excited to see what he's been up to since then. And he was also a top performer for his class, so it's even more excited for us to have him here and see what every knowledge he has in terms of corporate leadership. He's also a husband, a father, and tennis enthusiast. He likes to travel, and he's very keen to learn not just from his professional career, but also from life experiences that helps him develop his foundations for leadership. As you can see in his webinar, he has a very passionate about this topic, so we're very hoping that it's very like a learning experience for everyone. It's very good to listen. He demonstrates this passion, and hopefully everyone gets contagious. Just to structure the lecture, it's gonna be around 50 minutes of presentation, and then we're gonna have around 10 minutes to Q&A. So if you have a question, if you wanna forget it, please write it in the chat, and we'll address it with Lucas. We'll check the questions and we'll address it at the end. And Lucas is very happy to answer any questions that he was not able to answer during the presentation. So Lucas, can you take it away for the first ever webinar series? And we're very happy that you're the first one to present here.
Excellent. Happy Friday, regardless what's going to happen today. Today's Friday and tomorrow is Saturday, so it's a good day, right? And it's an honor to be here, to be quite fair, and thanks everyone. I started talking to Chris from Mejia, and then I talked to the GCLOG alumni team. And thanks for the all the alumni students, right, for stopping and listening, so I appreciate. I was talking to my father this week, and I said to him, hey, I studied at MIT with the ratio to get in is just 4.5%. So it's a privilege to be here. We always learn to each other, and my message includes vulnerability, because leadership, it's about everybody's a leader, and then here I will share some stories with you about vulnerability, about my personal and my professional experiences. So a big thank for everybody, and let's go to the agenda that I have here. So we have these 5 topics that I'm going to cover, and we are going to see a little bit on the first topic about the context of leadership. So this is one page that I have, and I like to have this one page why. It's always good to connect with the several stakeholders that I work in Johnson & Johnson, but it's always good to have this one page that talks about ourselves. So I like pretty much the photo upper right corner on the slide. That's my first job. I was a vacuum cleaner in Toronto, Canada, and that's how I started working. And then you can see my most precious thing that I have. It's my family, my pet, Pasoka. And I am a big fan of tennis. I love it to watch and I love to play, because I do believe that we have a lot of skills that we have in tennis that we can apply also in our day by day of a corporate life. So you can see the summer of my life in my professional career. Basically, I spent 10 years in international trade, in a service, in DHL and Daxer, and then I have over 10 years in the industry, and you can see my roles in JJ. So we have DISC as well. This is something interesting that I'd like to point out. I don't know if you have it, but it's quite common here in JJ. We talk about DISC, which is a behavior assessment framework. So this is good because we can learn about ourselves, which is key in our life on by day in our professional career. So I guess you have heard about it. We come from a VUCA life, and we now live in a life, right? We're from VUCA to Bunny. And this is something interesting. Our colleagues from Harvard led a World Mental Health Survey that 1 in 2 people will experience a mental disorder during their lifetime. So in other words, mental health challenges will affect 50% of people during their lifetime. So leaders are no longer managing only performance. We are managing also human resilience. And that's what we're going to cover here today, because this sentence is something quite interesting for me, because it says, who you are is how you make others feel. A leader had a responsibility in the distribution center to do a stock taking inventory, and the accuracy was 70%, quite bad. Target was 99.5%, and he had 70%. It's a true story, guys. This leader said, okay, let's take again the stock taking. Okay, we went from 70 to 80%. Oh, that's good. And then more one time, it was already 5 p.m. Okay, and then it is 85%, still bad. Okay, then this guy concluded the stock taking only in the next day, and he reached the result, but the team was not happy at all because they spent the overnight with a message from the leadership. We have to deliver it no matter how we deliver it. So the question here is leadership is not about taking operations running at all costs. It's about making the right decision, even when it requires stopping, reassessing, and rebuilding confidence on the data, but confidence on the people that we have. Here in JJ, we have a 50% of our evaluation as what I deliver, and other 50% how I deliver. So what is the fundamental foundation? If I have to do a question for you, what is the fundamental foundation of leadership? You can type it. This is not a monologue, okay? Let's talk in the chat because this is quite critical when I ask this question to a lot of people. What is the foundation that we have? And here we have this model, which I like it pretty much because that helped me a lot. You know, we have this framework of a cohesive team and a dysfunction team. So let's talk about that dysfunction team. And we have absence of trust. So if Danielle, for instance, is part of my team, and Danielle and I, we don't trust each other. So if Daniel does not trust in me as a leader, he will not speak up because he does not trust me. So there's a fear of conflict. If there's a fear of conflict, there's a lack of commitment, so that you avoid accountability, and then we have bad results. But when we have trust, even though Daniel does not agree with me, he's going to speak up. And then he does not agree, he speak up, we have a conflict because I have an idea and he has another one, but we have a conflict. But once we trust, we talk to each other and we commit on what we're going to deliver so that we have accountability and good results. So the question is how to build trust. You know, this book, it has sold 8 million in awards. It's called The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, that are in 30 idioms, and it's on the Fortune 500 universities being taught. And also they say about the 3 takeaways about how trust is built up. And they say, first, admit mistakes and vulnerabilities. Second, challenge ideas openly. And third, hold each other accountable. So when we see why leaders fail, I would ask it to you, why do you think that leaders fail? These statistics that I'm going to bring now, it's something quite interesting. The percentage of leaders that fail in the first 18 months. Any idea? So 40 to 50%, guys. That's a McKinsey and Harvard Business Review. It's a lot. And the question is, why? Because it's complex. And this book helped a lot. I was talking to someone from the alumni organization, and I forgot the name, but the guy said, hey, I just bought it. I'm using it, and it's quite good, you know? And here, the 3 takeaways that I take from this book, and every single time I take a new role as a leadership, I read this book again and again and again. The 3 takeaways is learn fast, deliver early wins, and build strong alliances. When I started working JJ, I did 2 mistakes. The first one, I trust in the team without knowing them. And this brought a lot of complications to me, trust me. The second one, I made a mistake. I did no connection with my peers, and I did not map the stakeholders properly. I didn't know which stakeholders I should build alliances. This book brings a matrix that which company or which part of the company am I working right now? It's a startup that I should build something from the scratch. It's a turnaround that I should fix something. It is accelerate growth that I should scale, or is it a realignment business that I should transform before it's too late, or it's a sustaining success that I should protect and renew? So if I had 60 minutes to solve a problem, I would spend 55 minutes understanding it and 5 minutes solving it. Albert Einstein. So that's kind of the book that we have here that can help a lot of people. Any questions? Just speak up, okay? I will stop for a minute to digest and listen to you guys.
Thank you, Lucas. Any recommendation on how to map stakeholders on the first 90 days?
Yes, I would say that I talked to the leadership team from my leader, and also I talk to the team, right? And then I map all of them, and I put kind of a matrix that I say, this guy is kind of, he works with me. He's a partner. This guy, I should build an alliance. And this guy, I should watch out and do not make this guy make my life harder, you know? And I do it quite fair, and this helps a lot. Thanks for your question.
Thank you.
So when we see here, why do leaders fail? That's the point here, guys. It's not easy, right? For instance, in JJ, we are talking about medtech and about innovative medicine. It's two different companies. We just innovative medicine, for instance, that I worked for. It's up to 8 therapeutic areas, depends on the country you work. We are talking about 140,000 employees. We have global, regional, and country organizations. I have already worked for the 3 of them. We have up to 11 layers. From the blue collar up to the president, we have 11 layers. You know, it's just a lot. And we have a lot of cross-functional roles. When we talk about the structure, we have many companies. It's kind of one business unit. It's one company. And we have local autonomy and global alignment. For my position that I have right now, it's Latin America, I need to connect the dots from global to local. And for the asset that I work for right now, I talk about over 30 stakeholders. On the top of it, we have ego management. So that's how it's hard to talk. You know, we have to balance how we talk in all the levels of the organization. When I used to take care of a distribution center, for instance, we used to invoice over 50% of the month in the last week of the month, right? And then I remember that was so push from the commercial team. I put everybody from the leaders team from the warehouse, and I said like this: hey guys, let's go and let's do it. Let's make it happen. I did it with my hands. Do you know the feedback I have received about it? Hey, Lucas is thinking that he's talking to pets, to dogs. Come on, it's like this. No, I said, my gosh, you know, and it's that then I understood that I should talk how they understand, you know. Otherwise, on the other hand, if I talk to the executive level, I cannot just start speaking and do not stop, you know. I need just to answer one question very clear, and then just to move on to the other one if the senior leader wants these details. I had a one-on-one this week with the Argentina Johnson & Johnson president, and I had 30 minutes with him. So I need to be very assertive on every single word. So Digest time. Any question? Okay, so this is something very that we always use on the. You can see this topic in several messages that we have, but once I remember to get a leader that said to me, Lucas, okay, my way or highway, you know. So if you are not happy, okay, highway. You can do it. What do you want? So that's a kind of a boss approach that it still exists. But how is the best way to influence people and to move forward? You know, because when you see the comparison of what is leadership and what is not, we have here some bullet points. But I remember once I was really being pushed at De Laval, and then I got a lot of pressure, a lot of pressure. I used to take care of the entire supply chain. It was an end-to-end supply chain, you know, really end-to-end, including manufacturing, order fulfillment, international trade, everything. And I was talking to my leader, and he just said, "Hey, Lucas, no panic." And sometimes you just have to stop and take a deep breath before we go into our leaders, because sometimes the push is so high, and it's hard to be not in panic, to be quite fair. But when he told me, he calmed me down and said, that's nice. So today I talk to myself, to my team sometimes, hey, just don't panic, you know. And the next situation that I worked with this leader in De Laval, I presented him a very, very nice project. And then he said, hey, Lucas, very good job. We are on the right uh, path, but we are not on the right moment. And I said, well, it's a perfect project. I said, we just should move on. And he said, yeah, we are not on the right moment. And that's why we need to understand the political scenario that we have in the organization. Because maybe you have the great, brilliant project, but you are not on the right moment. That's why one of the things that I do and I put on my agenda, it's called MBWA. Any idea about that? It's management by walking around. So what do I do is I basically block my agenda when I am in the office, and I work two times per week in the office and 3 days at home. And when I am in the office, I take advantage of it, because Han Charan, who wrote the book Execution, he says about that. Management by walking around is like a gemba, you know, for the Japanese guys. It's going in the floor and talk to people. And when I walk through the aisles of the office, I walk very slowly, and I pay attention of everybody, and I just talk, I start talking to people, to several stakeholders. And to be quite fair, the best meetings I have are on the coffee. The best meetings that I have are on the lunchtime, because people will speak up during this time. And during the meetings, in like big organizations like I have, it's different, you know. So when you have time to talk to people around the corner, you're gonna see that you can align with stakeholders, remove barriers, and bring clarity to your team, and moving some barriers of ambiguity. So I like pretty much this guy, right? Because he knows how to differentiate signal and noise. Because we talk a lot about prioritization, right? Especially when you have a regional position that you have to bring this strategy to the local team. And we always talk about what is signal, what is noise, right? We will always have a noise in our day by day, always, always. There are a lot of things going on, and how we prioritize. I know this is quite simple, and I know maybe everybody from this table knows this matrix, but there is something pending here. What is pending here? Because people say, no, you have to manage your time. No, you have to manage your priorities. But what I would say that I would include here, manage your energy. Why am I saying that? We do not have a 100% of energy 24 hours, right? So I remember during MIT, GCLOG, drinking water from the fire hose, and then we're just studying. We don't sleep, right? So it's quite crazy. And then I remember that I was with a colleague, a friend of mine today, that I said to him, hey, I will stop. I will ride a bicycle in Massachusetts, and then I'll come back, I'll take a shower, and then I will carry on this exercise because I am not being productive. I'm just not being productive right now because my energy is 10%. I should work from 80% on, not 10, 15, 20, 30%. Come on. So that's why here, you know, once we have a very flexible way of working, why don't you go to the gym, come back and do a meeting? You know, what I do sometimes, I just stop. I go to play tennis, I come back with the energy very high. My energy was 40%. I play tennis, my energy goes to 89%. And then I'm so productive, you know? That's why all these connected is so important, you know? Uh, before I move on, any questions?
I was gonna ask
I,
Lucas,
Yeah,
like you said, boss versus leader, and but sometimes that's like a role like in management. But what happens if you want to be like a leader, but you don't have influence as a manager? You're like an individual contributor. So if you're an individual contributor, but you have to have like a leadership impact to the team. Like, what are the skills or characteristics you should develop to have that influence, and maybe later on get to a leadership role? But where
yeah,
do you start?
sure. Yeah, and thanks for your question, Daniel. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it because we have one part of the presentation that we just cover leadership by influence. You know, yesterday I was in a meeting with my VP, and one of the senior directors said, "Hey, I used to be senior director for the commercial Brazil, but I came to the regional organization because I want to lead by influence." Because in local team, I lead because I have a team. But here at regional level, I have to influence the global team and the local team. And we're going to cover that, Daniel. And the question that we have here is, who here has ever had a boss and who here has ever had a leader? You know, I change leaders every single 1 year, 1.5 years. Okay, guys, that's roughly 1.5 years, a new leader. I had the great leaders. I had also very, very bad leaders. I, this is something that we always have to consider because we have to build a new alliance. I was talking to my mentor yesterday, and he said, "Hey, Lucas, I will have a new leader that he just came up to JJ 2 weeks ago. This person came from a startup, and let's see what's gonna happen. So a new leader, that happens all the time. So when I see here, one of the mistakes that I had already, I still make sometimes is micromanagement. Oh, Lucas, come on. You do it. Yeah, sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't trust. And sometimes I just micromanage. It's not good. I'm being a bad leader when I micromanage. you know, and that's how we can understand ourselves, ask for feedback, let the team prepare the feedback, and then provide to you so that we can again build trust and be a better leader all the time, right? So, question to you guys, and I want to listen to you. What is one thing that a leader should never, 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 never delegate?
I would say the strategy,
The
the
strategy is a
direction
good
that
one.
the
Yeah.
direction that we're gonna take. So that's on us.
Yeah, thank you, Carlos. That's a good one. Any other thoughts?
The final decision of a project.
The final decision of the project, that's a good one. I heard it once and I love it. And I do agree with it. One thing, it's hiring process, the final decision. I have already hired a person that I had to fire. That's not good, guys. That was my mistake. And hiring process today is so important to build a matrix that the stakeholders also interview the person. This is key for leadership, for team build up and so on. So I always answer this question as the hiring process, and I always like to bring here, delegate, don't abdicate. Delegate, don't abdicate. What is the difference? The delegate, you teach the person, you build trust, and then you build a commitment, and then you let the person work. Abdicate, you just let go. Wow, I have to do this. Okay, just do it. And I remember once I was working a drawback process, a drawback project, which we used to import raw material, manufacturing Band-Aid, and export to the United States. And the company did not delegate. The company abdicate. What was the result? We had the $60 million accrual because of we were not managing it correctly. We were not managing the broker service properly. We're not managing the stakeholders properly. So it's always good to think about delegate, don't abdicate. And how to lead through influence. And here, Danielle, I bring it to answer your question. And this is the book that if I were you and you have never saw it before, I would go in Amazon and buy it right now. Right now. This is the book that you have to have it. You need to have it because it's so good. 50 million copies, it's much, much more today, I guess. But the takeaways that I got from this book is genuine interest creates influence. Again, genuine interest creates influence. I don't know if you have heard this story, but the president, Roosevelt, he knew to talk to everyone. Everyone. He was a good guy to talk to. And why? Because in the day before, he would talk to the person. He spent the night reading everything about what this person like. I don't know who here likes to fish. Why I'm telling about the fish. If I ask you, what is your favorite ice cream flavor? Vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. Oh, that's good. But if you're gonna fish, what is the favorite food from the fish? It's worms. They want worms. They do not want an ice cream. So that's the first topic here. Create a genuine interest about what the people, the person that are going to talk to you wants, not what you want, what this person wants. Second, because influence starts with the curiosity, not authority. Second, be a good listener. And I am not a good listener, to be quite fair. I like to talk. So I have got a lot of feedbacks about, hey, don't listen. And it's the person is right. So what I do during my one-on-ones, for instance, I put it in the topics that I have to cover. And the first one is listen, just listen, you know. And the third topic that is a good takeaway from this book is, if we take a picture right now from this team, right? Who is going to be the person that you're going to look at? It's yourself. It's just yourself, because that's, make others feel important. Everybody, every person will say if it's good or not, if the person looks nice in the picture, so everybody is looking to be recognized. So for instance, what I have here in my agenda, if you see my agenda right now, every single Friday, 8 a.m., I put recognize someone. But it's a genuine recognition, but sometimes we forget to do it. And this is how I build this leadership by influence, So I don't know if I answered your question, Danielle, but that's the key takeaways. We have a lot of other, takeaways from this book, but I don't know if I could support your question.
No, perfect. Yeah, I get the point of the interest as a key factor to start influencing and connect with people.
Excellent. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about workforce generations right now. So if you see this matrix, we have 5 generations living and working simultaneously. That's the first ever time that we had this panorama. So where does the wisdom come from? Where does wisdom come from? This question, because we have to take a lot of decisions every day, right? And we work with so many people, so many generations. And there is a book written 3,000 ago, which says, in the multitude of counsel, there is wisdom. In the multitude of counsel, there is wisdom. It's Proverbs 11:14. Why do I love it? Because if we stop and listen to several people before taking a decision, we are going to be much more assertive, because we are listing different people, including different generation, to do it. You know this beautiful PowerPoint? My son did it. He's 16 years old. He did everything in EI. I just get a template from GCLOG. I just said, hey, that's what I want to put here, and just build it to me like this. So he is a generation Z, right? I am a generation Y, almost X, and we have to work together, right? So that my son just say, hey, Dad, come on. He's an AI fascinated person. But when I see these statistics, it's quite interesting from Deloitte last year. There are a lot of interesting data here. The top 3 words that I see on this data they are purpose, development, and well-being. Purpose, development, and well-being. But what called my attention was the first statistic. Just 6% of Gen Z want to become a senior leader. come on, 6%. And then I said, hey, that's not correct. In 44 countries, over 23,000 people, we have got this answer. And then I depth dive a little bit more on this analysis, and I found this. If the question includes balance, purpose, and sustainable development, the answer changes dramatically from 6 to 76%. So that's why I bring a situation that I was in Buenos Aires last week. I was with an Argentina colleague, and he said something to me very interesting. He said, "Hey, Lucas, let me thank you." I said, "Thank you for what?" You know, Lucas, when you told me that I was traveling to Brazil, and you said to me that I should spend a weekend in Rio de Janeiro, I said, "Can I do it? May I do it?" And you said, "Look, for sure, Capeluto, Marcelo Capeluto, surely you have to do it. Come on, you're gonna be in Brazil, just pay your own bills during the weekend, take advantage of the flight that the company is already paying, and that's it. Take advantage of it, right?" And when you said that to me, I changed my mindset, and I started traveling all around Latin America, and then I always do it. So I have been in several countries because of you. Because when I go to JJ to the different company, I always put 1, 2, 3 more days. I pay these bills my own, but I take advantage of the flight. Hey, then I did some analysis. 87% of the people in Brazil has never traveled abroad. In Mexico, 79% of the people has never traveled abroad. In Argentina, 64% of the people has never traveled abroad. So we have to help people, guys. We have to help people to have a balance, purpose, and well-being, because this is critical. And for me, it's so simple, but for this person was not. So we have already answered this question, right? This is a question that I always do in an interview. So what matters most, right? What or how you delivered. So again, 50% is how and 50% is what, right? And here I will close with this topic about self-leadership. Before I move on, any questions? Okay. So
I think
let's
Mariela
talk
has-
about.
Yes, I'm
sorry.
I raised my hand. Sorry. Thank
Yeah.
you. So I was thinking about the Gen Z generation, and what do you think about the entry to the labor market? Let's say that I'm facing some issues there because I don't see the motivation, maybe, or it seems I'm a millennial, so I'm older, and I think it's not the. I think it's motivation, but I don't. I can connect with what you are saying about the purpose, maybe. But anyway, I feel they don't want to work, maybe. So I want to have your perspective on that.
Yeah, you are right, but at the same time, it's harder, much harder to them to get in the labor. I was talking to a friend, and he said, "Hey, Lucas, I just fired 2 internships guys and 1 as junior analysts. And why? Because AI is doing their job." So when you see Generation X and Y, we could do whatever, right? I remember when I was an intern at DHL, I used to work a lot, and I used to say everything that I could do to develop myself. Now it's different. It's completely different. That's why I bring to the table these words that we need to bring them a balance. You know, there is a limit of people. You know, we have to bring purpose, and we have to bring sustainable development. This example that I had just gave for me was simple, but for the person was not. So we always have to think about how we can add value to this person so that this person gets motivated to work for the company. You know, it's not easy, I know that, but recognition must increase. You know, the quantity of recognition and feedback, you need to think about it, because these generations need much more feedback than the X generation, for instance, much more, and Y generation, much more. So that's how I think we can help them to get in the labor day by day. Okay, guys, so self-leadership. So this is something that I always to speak, that to lead others in a complex world, if you lead yourself, you're gonna lead everything. Everything. Oh, I have 200 people on my team. Yeah, I used to have 200 people as in warehouse. But if I don't lead myself, no way. First, you have to lead yourself. Then you lead others. And it's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy. Question for you. How many thoughts do we have in a single day? How many thoughts do we have in a single day? I would love to be in a face-to-face now with you guys, because I would give you chocolates if you would give the right answer. I did this question to a colleague of my kid, and this person got it right. So I gave him 100 reais, $20, let's say. But the answer here, guys, we have up to 7,000 thoughts in a day. How many? 70,000 thoughts in a day. What is a percentage of these thoughts are useless? What is a percentage of these thoughts that are bad? 80 to 90%. I will not go one by one on what is out of my control, what is in my control. But what I know is it's just a lot. And to manage it, it's not easy. And you need to always think about it, you know, to take a deep breath like I'm doing right now, you know, because we are in a worldwide life that we have FOMO, right? Fear of missing something out. But I like also JOMO, which is joy of missing out. And it's hard, you know, it's really hard. So it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be okay, guys. It's okay not to be okay. Remember in the beginning of the presentation, I told you guys, 50% of the people will have mental health issues. And that's what happened with me. And this is basically my last slide. I just have a +1, and we're going to conclude it. So that's my life. I married in 2007. So I got my first kid in 2010, and I did the second one 2012. Good. Then I started working JJ. I was away from home. I had no operational knowledge because my knowledge was in international trade, not in distribution center. I had 100% of responsibility from my house because my wife was taking care of the kids. And the leader who hired me was promoted 2 months later. And I was not able, remember, to connect with the stakeholders properly. I was not able to connect with my peer properly. This is so important. Connect with your peer really properly. It's so important to connect with your peer, to learn with the people that are in the company. You know, this is so important. I did not do it. So after 6-7 months, a new leader coming, but I thought that this leader would help me. But this leader did not help me. And then I said, wow, we are fighting to each other every single meeting. But I cannot leave JJ because I have the full financial responsibility from my house. So guys, I would not like to wake up. I felt like crashing my car and die, to be quite fair. And I was leading a lot of people. Then my wife said, you look like a zombie. Then I started talking to psychology. Then I went to psychiatry, taking pills to understand what was going on. I learned that 70% of depression comes from your parents. 70%, 70, up to. And then I learned about my father, my mother, my grandfather, my grandmother, and so on and so forth. And I learned that all of them got that. They, whoa, my gosh, I have to take care of it. And then I started getting better, my mental health. But then some years later, the same leader that was taking care of me in the warehouse was again in the international trade that I moved from my position. Then I went to MIT. It's so easy, right? So easy. And then we got trucks drivers strike in Brazil with the same time, trucks drivers strike, then Anvisa, which is our quality agency here in Brazil, and also with customs strike. And I was the leader for all the import of pharma in JJ. And on top of it, I was building my house. And then I got also a burnout again. Then I always, besides the psychology and psychiatry, I got orthomolecular. What is that? You get pills to get your energy very well, your hormones and so on. This also got so important because after 30 years old, you are not the same. So you have to get the energy all the time on the height level. So I did that and I was able to move on. So when my final takeaway, guys, is that remember that I told you about tennis. I love it. Roger Federer won 82% of the matches over 24 years career. He won over 100 ATP titles, 20 Grand Slams, over 230 consecutive weeks as number one in the world. But this guy won only 54% of the points. So he lost almost half, and think about that. Nearly half of the time he lost the point. So the lesson for leadership here is very, very powerful. In a world defined by uncertainty, disruption, and constant change, success is not just about winning every point, every meeting, every negotiation, or every decision. Success comes from learning faster, adapting better, and staying focused on the next point. So what I leave here today is keep learning, keep adapting, keep serving, leading forward, and remember, the next point is always more important than the last one. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucas.
Thank you, Lucas.
Thank you, Lucas.
Great presentation.
Great speech.
Yeah, we have just 1 minute is over, right? So what I can commit to myself, guys, is to Any questions that you have, you can just write to me, and I will be happy to answer it. And we can connect offline as well, and we can move forward in case of further questions. And thanks again, MIT GCLOG, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Lucas.
Thank
Everyone
you.
can let us know offline their questions, and we'll be happy to pass it on to Lucas or write him directly on his LinkedIn. Thanks, everyone. Agatha, I'm not sure if you're still on, if you want like last words. I would just say like this webinar series is the first, but we also want to invite everyone that wants to present, like in the future sessions. You can reach out. We'll be more happy to host any other topics you want to share with the community. And if you know anyone as well, like we're more than welcome to have them, so we can have this session in the course of the years. So we will grow and grow, and we'll just expand with this. And we're very happy to have Lucas as the first. And hopefully everyone is more interested and passionate as he is in leadership.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. We keep in touch.
Thank you, Lucas. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Hey, Daniel. Before we go, shouldn't we take a picture with Lucas?
Yes.
Just a...
You know, if anyone has like a big screen, because I have like a little screen here.
I have a little one.
Let us know if you're gonna excuse.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to come on camera, more than welcome to the picture.
Right,
Yeah,
smile.
Yeah, keep smiling. Who's gonna take it?
We need more cameras. Come on, guys. Don't be shy. All right, hold on. I'm gonna take one. Everyone smile. All right, I got one.
Excellent.
Thanks,
Good.
All right.
Thank you, guys. We
everyone.
keep in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, Lucas.
Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
very much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Come the money, Lucas.
Valeu, Leandrão.